Let's try to solve this third order equation. So on the left hand side we have x plus 2 multiply x plus 3 times x plus 4, and on the right hand side we have 990, right? So how we can solve this equation, right? One of the ways is to solve it by inspection. So on the left hand side, x plus 2 is like the smallest number, right? And then x plus 3 is just the one larger than x plus 2, and x plus 4 is just the one larger than x plus 3. So these three numbers that's multiplied together are consecutive and differ by just 1, right? So it's a three number multiplied together and then get 990. And if you try to factor 990, you can easily find that 990 is 9 times 10 times 11, right? So that's three consecutive numbers multiplied together. So you can guess that x plus 2 is going to equal to 9, right? And then you can figure out x actually equals to 7, right? So if you bring x equals to 7 to the left hand side, you're going to get 990. But is x equal to 7 the only solution, right? Do we have other possibilities? Do we have other solutions that might not be integers or might be floating point numbers or fractions, that kind of thing, right? So let's try to actually solve this equation in the standard way, right? How do we actually solve this third order equation? So the first thing we're going to do is to actually replace some of the expressions by using a simpler notation. So here we can choose to actually replace x plus 3, this middle term, right? So let's try to replace x equal to 3 with the symbol t, right? So t is going to equal to x plus 3, and then x plus 2 is just going to be what? T subtract 1, and then t in the middle, and then x plus 4 is just the t plus 1, right? And then move 990 to left hand side, and then it's going to be equal to 0, right? Let's try to solve this equation. And how do we solve this equation, right? So we have t subtract 1 and t plus 1, and here we can actually expand them, right? It's gonna, what we're gonna have is t squared subtract 1, right? So if you remember how to factor t squared subtract 1, it's gonna be t subtract 1 times t plus 1, right? And then multiply t, and 990 equal to 0, right? And now we can expand it, so it's gonna be t to the third power subtract t, right? Subtract 990 equals to 0. Now we have t to the third power. So how can we solve it, right? One of the useful equations for third power that involves third power. One of the important factorization formula for third power. For example, if you have a to the third power subtract b to the third power, and then you can factor it as a subtract b times a square plus ab plus b squared, right? That's one of the important thing to remember, right? You can actually factorize this kind of thing into this kind of thing, right? If you don't believe me, you can try to expand the right hand side, and then you're going to end up with the left hand side, right? And here we can actually try to apply this kind of a formula over here. But we have the t to the third power. How do we actually get another thing that's to the third power, right? Let's look at the 990. 990 is what? 990 is 1000 subtract 10, right? So t third power subtract t subtract, we can subtract 1000 and then plus 10, right? 1000 is 10 to the third power, right? So it's going to be t to the third power subtract 10 to the third power subtract t plus 10, right? And t to the third power subtract 10 to the third power, we can expand it to t subtract 10, right? And t squared plus, so a is t, right? B is 10, 10t plus 10 to the second power, that's 100, right? Subtract, we can factor out the minus sign, so t subtract 10, equals to 0, right? And now we can actually combine these two terms. We factor out t subtract 10, t subtract 10, and then here we have t squared plus 10t plus 100 subtract 1, that's plus 99, equals to 0. So one of the solution is t equals to 10, right? But does this factor has a real number solution, right? No, it doesn't have a real number solution, right? All we have to do is to test. Uh, so square b squared subtract square root, right? So if you know how to actually solve a second order polynomial, you have this kind of formula, right? This is b, right? B is 100 subtract 4 times ac. A is 1, right? It's 4 times a is 1, c is 99, right? But 100 is smaller than 4 times 99, right? So this square root doesn't hold for real numbers, right? So we know that this part doesn't have a solution, doesn't have a real solution, right? It has complex solutions, but this part doesn't have a real solution. So the only solution is t equals to 10, right? And then if we solve for x, right, x equals to 7, right? And x equals to 7 is the only real solution.